Greetings and welcome to the elements of the supply chain presentation. The supply chain requires various functions to work together to satisfy the customer's needs. Understanding those required elements is key for you to succeed as a supply chain management specialist. This presentation will discuss those elements and their function within the supply chain that help to make a company successful and competitive within its given industry. It is already known that the supply chain is a crucial part of the structure of an organization. Equally important is the understanding of the key elements of the supply chain. Some supply chains are simple. They consist of a company purchasing parts from a supplier and selling those parts to a customer. Most supply chains are more complex than this. The complexity of the supply chain usually varies with the size of the business and the steps required in manufacturing their products. The more complex the supply chain, the more elements involved in fulfilling the customer's order. The elements of the supply chain can vary. All of the elements are equally important to the process. Every supply chain starts and ends with the customer. The customer is a consumer or organization that purchases and uses a product. The occurrence of all the events needed to fulfill the need starts with the customer. Usually the customer contacts the sales department of the company. This is usually done verbally. This is rare, or over the internet, or with a printed order or a purchase card. The company then enters a sales order for a specific quantity to be delivered on a specific date. The next element of the supply chain is planning. Once the customer's order is received, the planning department will create a production plan to fulfill the order. The manufacturing company, also called the producer, is the organization that makes the product. The completion of the planning creates a need to purchase the raw materials required to make the products. This element is called purchasing. The purchasing department is notified of the raw materials and services needed in order for manufacturing to produce the items for the customer's organizations. The purchasing department sends purchase orders or a desire to purchase request to selected suppliers. The purchase order gives the supplier permission to deliver the necessary raw materials to the manufacturing site on the required date. Once the ordered items are received from the supplier, they are checked for quality and accuracy. Then the items are put into the warehouse. At this point, the product becomes the inventory element. Sometimes the inventory is stored until needed, and other times it goes directly to the production floor to become part of the completed product. The next supply chain element that comes into play is production. Production is almost always carried out based on the input from the planning department. The raw materials, inventory, are moved to the production floor to produce the final product. After the items have been produced, they are tested. They are packaged, if required, then moved to the shipping area of the warehouse. Transportation is the next area of involvement with the supply chain. When the finished product is moved to the shipping area, the shipping department determines the most efficient and effective way to get the product to the customer. The goal is to get the product to the customer the quickest, most economic, and safest way possible. Once the product is shipped to the customer, an invoice is produced and then sent to the customer by the accounting department, another important part of the supply chain. This presentation has revealed some of the key elements of the supply chain. While no two supply chains flow exactly the same way, there are similarities among them all. The sign of a strong supply chain is when there is a flow of information from one element to another. Each element has to be in tune with what is happening before their function, after their function, and with all functions involved. As a supply chain professional, it is crucial to understand each element of your organization and the role they play in keeping your organization customer focused and successful. Thank you once again for your time and attention, and this is businesstraining.com, where you can earn a master's level qualification to make more money.